Hello there, everybody of the AGDQ or SGDQ 2020 Games Committee. My name is Zojalix, presenting to you Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers Legolas Easy Speedrun. This would be one of my submissions for SGDQ 2020. So before we start the run, what we're doing here is we are activating a glitch that will allow us to skip all of the cutscenes that are included from the movie. We do that by going into an already completed file, and then we save and quit the file. This works only on the GameCube version and is useful to help start the run, and is useful. Saves probably about 10 to 15 minutes for the run. I don't think we've actually timed out how much it saves. So anyway, another thing that we're doing is, because we're playing on Legolas, we're loading on an already started file, not an already completed one, but an already started file, because the first two levels in the game you play Isildur and Aragorn, and those are only included in the Aragorn speedrun. They do have some really interesting strats, so if you'd like to check those out, there is my Aragorn submission video that you can watch for that. But anyways, so we're starting here at the first level that we can select Legolas. So we're going to select Legolas, and timing will start when we confirm the selection. So, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers is a action adventure hack and slash game created by EA in, I think, 2001 for the PlayStation 2, original Xbox, and Nintendo GameCube. And so a lot of the strats that you'll be seeing are focused around proper combos that we use to get EXP and to get EXP fast. So what we're doing here is there's immediately a little EXP grab there. We're just going to pick that up, get ourselves super close to level 2. We want to be level 2 by the end of the level, and we're going to get level 2 actually right away by killing 4 enemies using our fierce attacks. Now, Legolas is the fastest character in the game in terms of base movement speed as well as attack speed. And we use our fierce attacks because they kill goblins super quickly, and then we're able to progress through the level. Now, to make our way through the end, we've hit level 2, which is what we want. And so the rest of this level is pretty straightforward. It's pretty much just moving to the end boss fight where you fight the Watcher in the water, but we have to be it's actually a lot harder than it looks, because we have to, I spent a lot of time precisely routing this level in a way that you move around without getting yourself stuck, because if you move improperly, you can get stuck for quite a while, or even if just the goblins just don't like you. So there we get hit a couple of times, but, that's just how it be sometimes. And so now what we're going to be doing is we're at the lake, and we're just going to be moving through the lake, hugging around the water's edge, because if we get too deep into the water, we're going to do this slow walking animation, and with other characters we could just do a simple jump back, but we can't do that with Legolas, because his jump back is actually slower than him walking super slowly through the water. So we made it to the Watcher in the Water fight. This fight, there isn't really any ways to speed it up in terms of quick kill, other than just you play it casually really well. And we do that by standing here in the water. These tentacles are going to come up. We parry them, slash them, and then we have a shot ready. So that way, the moment the Watcher in the Water pokes out from where he needs to be, we can shoot him and deal the damage. It doesn't matter if we do a quick shot versus a charge shot. But overall, that was a really good fight that we used. I'm recording this video based off of the current world record that was set. I don't remember the date of it, but it was in February of 2020.
This is the dawn.
So we finished Gates of Moria. We're going to go into the end of each level, where we have where it's going to tally up all of our upgrade points, and then we get to buy abilities. The abilities that we're going to be buying are Elrond, Swift Terror, and Elven Fury, which actually, oddly enough, that was a mistake. Normally in the run, we actually would rather be buying our Lothlorien Longbow, but I did not do that because my brain just was on Aragorn, where normally after the first level of Aragorn, we buy Ranger Fury. So Elven Fury won't really come into play here. But we get our first like base combo. So as you can see down in the bottom left corner, you see our little damage meter. It's currently maxed full to the max because we've entered perfect mode by using our Elrond Swift Terror ability. But now that it's not full, we can kind of explain it a little better. You'll see how there's that little outer ring. That is the amount of damage that we do. And if we do a lot of damage in a very short period of time, we enter what is called perfect mode. And in perfect mode, we will one-shot the majority of enemies, as well as we get the maximum amount of EXP. And since in Balin's Tomb, the first segment of this level is just EXP grinding, we want to maximize the amount of EXP that we get, so that way we don't have to spend a lot of time grinding in later levels. So this level is really good for that, and especially with the position that it's in early on in the run, we can set ourselves up to get a lot of EXP early on, and then not have to worry about needing to get EXP later on. So as you can see, we've gotten a lot of EXP already. We've gone up to level 3. We're gonna get super close to level 4, but unfortunately we're not gonna be able to get it in this run, just because I don't know if, as of right now, we would have to do some extra EXP routing in Gates of Moria if we wanted to hit level 4 by the time we hit Amon Hen, which would be beneficial, but I think overall it would be slower if we were to route that in. So the grinding segments takes about 2 minutes, so we're getting close to the end of it here. And at the end of it, we have our troll fight. Now, the troll fight is a super tough reset point because the way that we deal with the troll fight is the troll is going to spawn, and we're going to try and hit it with the very last attack in Elrond Swift Terror, and that's going to immediately end the first phase and put us into perfect mode, but it requires super precise timing. And if we miss, we can be in a mess. And as you can see, it takes a little bit, but eventually we do get into perfect mode. Overall, that was actually really sloppy. And so now that we're up here and in perfect mode, a charge shot and a quick shot kills the troll really quickly. If we had the Lothlorien longbow, it would have only been, actually I think it's a Rivendell longbow actually for this one, but it would have only been one charge shot and he would have been dead. But you can see, having a perfect kill on the troll gave us a lot of EXP. So we're going to buy Force of Celeborn and our Rivendell longbow, and move on to the next level, Amon Hen. Amon Hen is the most difficult level in the entire run, and the reason for that is because of Uruk-hai. Uruk-hai are enemies that are just, they're really evil. They're really evil. The reason why I say they're really evil, rather than just me sit there and complain about them, they have this overhead swing ability that you've already seen them do like 3 times, and the first one connected. And every time it hits you, no matter what, it knocks you over. And since we are level 3, we don't have rising attack yet, so if we get knocked down, it takes about a second or 2 for us to actually stand back up. And so the way that Amon Hen works, it's actually a super optimized level thanks to 7 Swagmuffin 7 and the work that he has done specifically for this level. But we have to kill a certain amount of Uruk-hai in order for the level to end. And we're going to be doing that by taking specific fights in specific areas. Once we take those specific fights, we kill enemies by going into perfect mode super quickly, and then we use our bow and arrow mixed with perfect mode to kill enemies super fast. And Legolas, since he has the fastest attack speed, we only need to worry about just getting into perfect mode, and then we can sit there and just spam arrows, and enemies will die. A lot. So you'll see, with the super fast, with how fast Legolas draws his bow, we can utilize that so much to just kill so many enemies super quickly. And since we're in perfect mode, we get the maximum amount of EXP for killing them, which then allows us to progress through the level significantly faster than if we didn't do that. So these fire pits here, it's fine. We just walk through fire. Another thing to note about Legolas is we bought Force of Celeborn, which is our only armor upgrade that we are going to get in the entire run, because that is the only one available. And Legolas is extremely squishy. Like, it does not take much for him to die. As you can see, we walked through those fire pits and we're already almost dead. But luckily, this game is, especially on easy mode, this game is super generous with its health drops. And we utilize that a lot. Specifically, mainly, well, when I said we utilize that a lot, we utilize it a lot in terms of safety. Because it's so easy when you're playing as Legolas to die. And so some strats that we might do as Aragorn because they just seem easier are actually riskier to do as Legolas because there's a higher chance of us dying. So now we're at the bridge fight. There's not really too much about the bridge fight other than just racking down those last Udokai. And then we're going to head into the Lurtz fight. Now, the Lurtz fight is the second major boss fight in the game, and it's in two phases. It has an archery phase and a sword phase. And since we're going into the fight with perfect mode, it will only take one shot for Lurtz to go out of his archery phase into his sword phase. And that's exactly what we want. If we weren't in perfect mode, I think it would take 3 shots. So we're able to save a couple of seconds. It's not a major time loss if you're not in perfect mode, but... And so what we're trying to do here, and I was really bad at it, was trying to parry kick and then use my double fierce attack combo to kill him. But I was able to back it up pretty well by running over to the statue, getting him caught in the statue, using his Isildur Swift Terror, and then doing a double fierce attack combo to finish him off. And that's how quick the Lurtz fight can go. And it's actually a really hard fight, probably the hardest fight in the entire game. So as you can see, we got a lot of EXP. And so we're going to be buying Rising Attack and then our Lothlorien Longbow. That's all we need, oddly enough. Because Legolas, especially when we get into the later stages of the run, Legolas's bow is going to be the thing that we are going to abuse a lot. Because he's going to get a bow upgrade called Mithril Arrows, Mithril Longbow, which will penetrate enemies and set them on fire. And when we get into the end stages of Helm's Deep and stuff, it's going to be a lot of just arrow spam, which comes in kind of handy, actually. So now we're in Fangorn Forest. Fangorn Forest is a level that that I personally don't like, just because the troll fights are kind of annoying. But sometimes, and this level is just moving from one required fight to another, and it can be the worst. So those are Berserkers. We hate Berserkers because if we aren't able to get our Elven Fury off like that, then Berserkers are just no bueno in any way, shape, or form. So we're at our first Wood Troll fight. We can't do the Isildur Swift Terror combo like we could in Balin's Tomb. So what we do is we use our fierce attacks at a specific rhythm. And that rhythm is, we're spamming it, but we're not spamming it too fast so we don't do the down strike. And that way we can keep the troll caught in a rhythm in his recoil animation while we're doing the up strike, which then makes him die a lot faster. Because if we did the down strike, he would get iframes, and then he would hit us, which would be bad. So now we're at this river. This river normally would be a huge pain because you go super slow, but by hugging onto the left side, it goes by a lot faster. And this troll is not a nice man. This is probably my least favorite troll in the entire level, just because he constantly, it's a lot harder to put him on, like, somewhere where he can get stuck. So, like here, this guy did not cooperate. And so now we are almost dead, and in a big state of Monka S. But, again, the game is generous with its health drops, and we can continue throughout the run. So now we have the Goblin Horde fight. And it's another pretty standard fight of just Isildur Swift or Elrond Swift Terror, get into perfect mode and spam arrows. And this fight did not behave. So one thing you'll see me doing is I'm fierce attacking that log. That helps me to know, like, how many goblins I have left. Because I will not be able to break that log and progress the level until all the goblins are dead. And sometimes the goblins like to hide. So now we have 2 trolls. 2 trolls are not fun. But we're able to continue with the same sort of rhythm, and if we get really lucky, we catch them both. But it's very unlucky that we're able to catch them both very frequently. So that guy there, we missed the 1 strike, and he hit us, so we lost a couple of seconds, and the shield guy was a turd nugget. But yeah, that's Fangorn Forest. One thing you'll notice about this game is a lot of, like, the levels in themselves are super short. And they become extremely shorter with the EXP grinding that we use. And for instance now, we've hit level 6, which means we're going to unlock the capability of using Dragonfire arrows. And those set enemies on fire. And that becomes super overpowered, because being able to set enemies on fire, especially in these later stage levels where we really don't need to worry too much about EXP at this point, we can just shoot arrows, set the enemies on fire, and then run off, and they will burn on their own. So, Plains of Rohan. Plains of Rohan is a really unique level, just in the way that it's set up. You'll see in the top right corner, there's this villager meter. Villagers, with this level, if that meter drains all the way empty, that means that this village was, like, everybody was killed in this village.
You must press on. I am needed elsewhere.
And that's not good. And you fail the level if you do not save all of the villagers. And it makes it an interesting level too, because of the way that we route it out. You have to be really careful, because there's some fights that we take, and there's some fights that we don't take, which will cause villagers to run into enemies. And you kind of have to hope and pray for good RNG to make sure that you don't get wrecked. So there, we're setting that berserker on fire and then running off. He'll eventually burn. And then we hit that barrel to get a slight little bit of EXP. Like I said, we're getting real close to hitting our EXP minimum that we need, and that's just level 8. And we're already like over halfway there. Which I think we actually end up getting it at the end of this fight because we go into perfect mode and we get a lot of EXP because those Uruk-hai give out a lot of EXP. And so now we're entering into the last fight of the level. And in this fight, this poor couple that you're going to see there, let's F for them. They're going to get thrown into a building and be expected to be burnt alive. There's going to be another health meter that you're going to see show up under the icon of the villagers. If that meter drains before we release those villagers, we fail the level regardless of what our villager meter is. But since we have Dragonfire arrows, we can just destroy everybody in here. And then we're supposed to be able to use Elven Fury, but I apparently suck at it. So I give up and just use 2 fierce attacks.
The survivors will make for Helm's Deep. You still have work to do. I will come back to you at the turn of the tide.
So now that we've hit level 8, we're going to buy Elrond's Judgment, and then we're not going to have enough EXP for our Mithril arrows, which is fine. We don't need them in this next level, because this level is Westfold, which is a lot of explosive devices. And when we kill things by blowing up the explosives, we actually don't gain EXP from them. And at this point, we don't want EXP. Because as you've seen at the end of every single level, it goes through and it tallies all of our EXP. And so if we don't tally up our EXP, we save time. And this is also where the squishiness of Legolas becomes super manga-esque. Because if we take 2 direct explosive attacks, we're dead. And so this is super manga-esque because we have to be really careful as to how we go about these. So like right now, if we take 1 more explosive attack, we're dead. Or maybe not. I guess it's 3 attacks you can take, but even still, it's super close. It's super tight. So like here, I try to kill this guy. So like right there, see, we're at the bare minimum of health that you can have before you die. And I only killed that guy because my health was so low and I wanted to get a full health thing.
I shall have to find another one.
And then here we have this stupid camera that's just a troll. And so here we're at the lake. The lake is pretty simple. We run along the right side of it to prevent ourselves from walking super slowly. And so by doing that, we don't move slow, and we don't like moving slow because we're speedrunners. But unfortunately, we get trolled a little bit here because it's a big jank fest right now. But we grabbed another thing of health, we are alive, and we can shoot that to end the level. And move on to Gap of Rohan, which is a super short level consisting of 2 fights. And that is a fight against some wargs and then a fight against a El Boss Man. And so it's a super short level. We don't buy any, or I think we buy mithril arrows at this point. Nope, we don't buy anything, and we accidentally have ourselves save. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our Elven Fury ability. Oh wait, no, we just use our Dragonfire arrows and kill them. And now we're going to fight El Boss Man. El Boss Man goes by the name of Sharku. The fight is going to be super short, and it's going to be killing these 4 little side enemies that he's going to bring out, and then he's going to charge us a couple of times, and then we're going to hit him and finish him off. Now, for some reason, the full charge shot didn't kill that warg, and I think like I might have let go of it a frame too early, because if you don't do the full charge shot, it won't go off. Like, it won't kill enemies right away. So here, we're going to be standing in a very specific spot, and we're going to do that specifically so that way on the back end of our Elven Fury, he dies. Again, super fast fight, but really bad menuing on top of it. And so now we are into Helm's Deep, Deeping Wall. If you guys know the lore of Lord of the Rings, Saruman attacks Helm's Deep with 10,000 Uruk-hai. And unfortunately in this level, it turns into an 8.5-minute auto-scroller of running around, or an 8-minute auto-scroller, of running around and kicking down ladders, trying not to kill enemies. And so, unfortunately, there really aren't too many areas in which we can make this more entertaining. I do have some things planned out for if I were to have, like, if this were to be accepted and I have a couch, my plan is to, well, be reading off, kind of alternating between donations, since we haven't had any moments to read donations so far in the run. And also, I was planning on getting a box of Lord of the Rings trivia cards, because I am a Lord of the Rings nerd. Like, one of the things I'm really known for in speedrunning is Lord of the Rings games. I founded the Lord of the Rings Discord. I did a lot of different stuff like that. And I did that just because I love Lord of the Rings so much. I grew up on it. I play the games way too much. And so I have a extreme amount of knowledge when it comes to the Lord of the Rings, and specifically the movies. And so I was planning on getting my box of Lord of the Rings DVD Trivia Pursuit cards, and or like pulling up Lord of the Rings movie trivia and kind of showcasing how little of a life I have in regards to Lord of the Rings. So that's one way that I was hoping to make this auto-scroller go by in a way that's a lot more fun for the audience to enjoy, and you know, we'll make it even more fun and say I'll donate $1 for every question I get wrong.
water.
So an interesting thing to note about this auto scroller is, well, this level in general, is at about the 6.5 minute mark, there's going to be a catapult that's going to start firing. And as I mentioned before, Legolas is super squishy, and so it's very possible that we could get two-shot by a catapult and die, losing those 8 minutes. And this is the only sort of real fear of dying I've ever had in the run. But that is why, even though like this run is 47:34, that estimate is an hour, because it gives me at least 13 minutes in case something ridiculous like this happens. Because there are no checkpoints in any of the levels. You die, you have to restart it. You have to restart it. Words, I'm wonderful. You have to restart the level from the beginning. So this is the catapult, and it's scary. So we've done it. We've made it through the long enduring auto scroller. Thank you so much for putting up with this, because it is not the most fun. So we've got 2 more levels left in the game. The next level that we have coming up is Helm's Deep Breached Wall. Breached Wall is another one of those levels where it progresses fast, by killing enemies fast. And now that we have mithril arrows, that comes in super handy. And so what's going to happen is we're going to rush up using our mithril arrows, and we're going to blow things up. We're standing back a ways. Actually, I don't know why I moved up. I shouldn't have moved up. But we stand back a ways because when enemies explode, we don't want them to explode on us. And also, other enemies are going to be coming through, and we can use our mithril arrows to pick them off before they get close to us. Now, unfortunately, you can't really see it, but in the bottom right corner is my arrow count. Legolas has 60 arrows, and which is a lot of arrows. So our arrow count doesn't really become that much of a fear. So again, now would be a time where we would probably alternate between donations and more. Well, actually, I don't know if I do the Lord of the Rings trivia at this point, just because this level requires a lot of focus. Because we have to. The entire level is based around analyzing the enemies, and once you analyze the enemies, you have to adapt to the way that they move and kill them quickly and not let them get past you. And so this level requires me to focus quite a bit. You'll notice the position that I'm standing in. That position is actually very important because I want the shield guys to run past me because my arrows don't penetrate their shields. But if I shoot them from the back, then my arrows penetrate and set them on fire, which is what we want. So here we're getting close to the end of the first phase of the level. The enemies are just going to kind of like come in a lot until we get to a very specific point. And so we're just going to be using the sappers to blow them up. And then there's going to be a specific group that's going to be a couple of armored Urukai and some berserkers. And they're all dead. And we just spam more arrows here to kill everybody there. That makes that segment go by super fast. So we have our last wood troll. We get trolled there by the sapper. Not the troll. You would think the troll would troll, but the troll does not troll. The sapper trolls. People trying to kill the troll. So we pick up a lot of health there because we got blown up. And now we have the catapult. With the catapult, the El Boss Man of this Uruk-hai army is going to haul this catapult in, and we need to destroy it. This part's kind of hard because the way that we destroy it is we have to try and get ourselves into perfect mode, and then once we get ourselves into perfect mode, we're going to use our Elven Fury to destroy them as fast as possible. Which apparently I didn't think to even try and go into perfect mode. I just decide I'm just going to just Elven Rage it, or Elven Fury it. And that's the catapult. And now we've got a cutscene and a really long kill tally because this level takes a long time of killing enemies. And then after we finish those up,
Never have I seen such axe work, Master.
then well we can turn over to donations while that's all happening. And then we'll move into the last level. Alright, so now we're into Hornburg Courtyard. Hornburg Courtyard is the last level of the game. It is unfortunately another level of killing enemies to speed things up, but it's a huge chaotic mess and a ton of fun. And we do that by standing still for a second because we're weirdos, and then we're going to run off to the side. And because we have mithril arrows, it's going to become a real fun time. Because we stand off to the side, hope and pray that enemies don't come over and attack us. But yet here we are with enemies coming over and attacking us. But we're gonna sit and spam our arrow shots to kill things really quickly. So now we're into the second segment of the level. Aragorn needs our help. We're gonna go help him by burning people with fire arrows. So he's burnt. We get stuck by this archer dude. I don't really understand his issue, but yet he gets in our way. So now we're in the second to last segment of the level, and it's, again, a really long time of killing enemies off to the side using arrow spam. So this is another really good time to turn it over to a lot more donations. So they're calling for archers on the wall. This is important because there are 9 archers that we have to kill in order to progress the level. Gimli has said, "A little help your elf," and that means we can now continue on with our fire arrows. So the time will be coming up here in a little bit. There will be a small cutscene of trolls coming, and then we're going to kill the trolls, and that will be time. So these 2 trolls are going to come up, and for some reason, these are the only trolls in the game where these arrows work. But we can fire arrow spam these trolls. So we do that. But yeah, again, there's this cutscene, we're going to kill these trolls, and then time will be coming. I just want to say thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to be able to record a submission video for SGDQ. Like I said, I'll be presenting Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers as a character Bidwar, similar to as if time. Similar to a Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, where we can do bid wars based on the characters that are being played as well as I will be submitting a Tower of Orthanc run as a bonus incentive, short 15-minute run, and whatever character wins the bid war will be on what character I use for Tower of Orthanc. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope that it will be accepted into SGDQ 2020.